little demonstration of dry brush painting here because a lot of people have been asking about how you do it. And so my daughter's going to do the painting and I'm going to do the narration of what's happening here. But the main idea with dry brush painting is that I understand is that instead of using a wet brush for watercolor, when you use a wet brush, your paint will spread. Keisha, could you show on just a scrap piece of paper with a wet brush what your watercolors would look like? So she'll just show, I mean, you've all probably seen a watercolor painting before, but if you do a line with a wet brush, you know, it's pretty globby, thin and thick. You don't get a lot of detail that way, and that's what watercolor is typically like, but that's not going to give you a lot of detail. What we're going for is a lot of specific detail like that, for more like a pencil drawing or a marker drawing, but using our watercolors and our paintbrush. So we're going to walk you through that. So back to your plain piece of paper, you'll have a thicker nature notebook, which doesn't have to be super thick watercolor because you're using a dry brush, but you get a water on your brush, and then she's going to be doing this purple coneflower, which is also called echinacea. And so you can mix your colors. She's going to mix probably red and blue to try to get a lighter purple color or pink color. And you use water for this first part because you have to mix your colors. But then once you have your colors mixed, and you also want to try to not use a straight green from your palette, but try to use greens and yellows and blues to mix.
Oops, I didn't mean to get that one wet.
So she's still learning about mixing colors, and sometimes that does take a while.
It takes forever.
Anyway, we don't have to have a perfect color for our demonstration, so let's just try. So once you have your color, then you want to have a pretty dry brush. You can she's just kind of pointing her bristles a little bit, but you want to pick up your color with water on your brush, and then you might have to dab your brush off a little bit if you don't want too much water. She dabbed hers off first, so she just wants to make sure it's not too wet. That's the idea of dry brush. And you can test it on a sample piece to make sure it makes a clean line. So anyway, she's just going to start, and she's looking at her sample, her specimen, and so see how the line is more fine because she's wiped off the water. And so her brush is more like a pencil or a marker with fine control because her brush isn't super sopping wet.